Good afternoon. I'm Robert Axon, the State Republican Vice Chair, currently meeting with a number of our candidates. Today, I've had an earlier conversation with Austin Cox, which you've hopefully had a chance to listen to and to watch. Right now, it's a pleasure to sit down with you, Jordan, and do it via Zoom. The joys of technology that allow us to do a lot more this year than I think we were all expecting to be comfortable with a couple years ago. Before we jump into the conversation with Jordan, one of our candidates for vice chair, a couple of announcements. Obviously, as a delegate, we need you and expect to see you on May 1st. So Saturday of next week. Look forward to being with you May 1st here in Salt Lake County in person for our state convention, which will be happening at the Maverick Center. In the lead up to the convention, we have a number of activities. You're welcome to go to utahgop.org to see the list of those activities and find out ways that you can get tickets or participate. But there's a golf tournament, an interesting dinner with a great speaker. We have Ambassador Robert O'Brien, the former national security advisor during the Trump administration, who will be speaking to us. So again, check that out. There's also a very fun activity, a scavenger hunt throughout the county that you can do with groups of friends or some of your family members. So again, go to utahgop.org to check that out. Also, we'll see you on May 1st, so that's Saturday of next week for the convention. So with that, we have Jordan Hess, like I mentioned before, one of our two candidates for state GOP vice chair. So taking over my position from me. So definitely, no matter who wins, we're going to get an upgrade. Looking forward to either of you hopefully doing a better job than I've done, or at least building on those things that I've put my heart into. So with that, Jordan, time is yours. Let's jump into this conversation and allow all of our wonderful delegates a chance to get to know you a little bit better. So Jordan, tell us something that's unique about you and maybe something that folks don't know.
First of all, they're going to be very big shoes to fill. So you've done a great job, and I look forward to continuing your great work. Something unique about me: I speak 4 languages, and I've lived on 3 continents. And actually, I've lived on 4 continents. I've lived in South America, in Europe, and in Africa, and of course here in North America. So yeah, anytime I get some vacation time, I love to see the world and explore. And so that's something unique about me. I speak 4 languages: Spanish, Portuguese, German, and English.
Oh, very nice. Well, I speak 2 languages, one very poorly, and occasionally I even stumble over English. So we're going to have to practice with one another here, Jordan. So tell me, what's a challenge you've had in life, and tell the folks that are listening in on this video, what's a challenge that you've gone through in life that you think prepares you to either be a mentor or an advocate to others, and something that you could apply to your role as vice chair if you were to win?
I think one of the most challenging experiences I've been through in my life was in my senior year of college at Brigham Young University, where within a matter of 48 hours, my dad went from being healthy to being in a coma and on life support. And that, ended up being a 6-month ordeal with multiple open heart surgeries and completely reliant on external, external resources to keep him alive. That was my senior year. I dropped my classes. I moved back home so I could be with my mom. Long story short, though, he received a heart transplant. He's doing fine. He's with us today. But that was challenging because it happened so quickly. And what I learned from that is that there's no really guarantee in life, and we don't know what's going to happen day to day. And what I've learned is to be happy, to be positive, and enjoy life. Find ways to fulfill your dreams and your aspirations, and to find hobbies and create friendships and lasting relationships that will enrich your life, because none of us know what's going to happen day to day.
So with that, how did that maybe lead you, if at all, to running for vice chair? And obviously this desire to be positive and to be engaged in things that you care about and have a life that you find value in. How does that apply to this decision that you've made to run?
I gravitate to people who say that our best days are yet ahead of us. And I hear a handful of people, especially some elected officials, say that. Senator Lee often says, I believe that our best days are yet ahead of us in this country. And I'm an optimist. I believe the same thing. And if I can do anything to contribute to that, to prepare our state and our party for the future, to engage the next generation of conservatives, to amplify female voices in our party, to make sure that we are the party of the future here in Utah as the states around us trend blue. We just saw Arizona go blue. They, in a matter of 2 years, they went from 2 Republican senators to 2 Democrat senators, and then President Joe Biden won the state last fall. That scares me, but because I'm an optimist, I'm like, okay, what can I do? I'm going to jump right in and do everything I can to preserve freedom and opportunity for the state of Utah.
How dire of a problem do you think it is being surrounded in our state by these states like Nevada and Colorado and Arizona who have gone red?
Yeah, New Mexico.
Excuse me, gone blue. Freudian slip, this hopeful, optimistic Freudian slip that they had gone red, and I'm confident they will. But reversing that, unfortunately, they've gone blue. So how big of a problem is that for us?
I think it's a problem. I think we've got to do a better job of messaging, supporting our candidates, finding the right candidates to run for these offices with compelling messages, with the qualifications, with the desire to run and to make a difference. And it happens, we saw in Colorado, it was a pretty quick flip there, and it's the left's playbook. Start at the local school district level, and then start at the city councils, and then the mayors, and the state legislative seats, and then the members of Congress, the federal delegation, and just infiltrate, educate, band together, and we've got to combat that.
So what do you see some of the key responsibilities of the vice chair position being, and how will you approach accomplishing those priorities?
I've got a lot to bring to the table. I have campaign experience, which we all know is necessary. But on top of that, I have policy experience. I spent time in the US Senate. I was a director at the Heritage Foundation in Washington, D.C., directing a team to advance conservative policy and principle across the country. So I have a lot of that, but I see the role of the party primarily just a couple of things. One of those is to support and get Republican candidates elected. Bar none, that is the priority of the party. Number two, to support our platform and educate our members and the general public on our platform and the policies. A lot of people want to know, what's your position on this issue, or what's your position on that issue, or what are you going to do about this? And I think we need to keep our priorities focused on recruiting, training, and running great candidates and getting them elected. And then two, just making sure that we rally the party around our platform.
What do you see the greatest challenge to your candidacy being as you want to take on this role of vice chair and apply those 3 objectives that you've laid out? What's the challenge that you're facing right now?
I'll tell you what, I'm on the phone with delegates, which is great. It's been challenging that our bigger counties like Salt Lake, Davis, Weber have been remote conventions. Utah County is happening this weekend. It's a remote convention, so that candidates like me don't have an opportunity to get up in front of the delegates to share my vision, to share why I'm running. And so it's just hitting the phones. That one-on-one interaction is awesome. I love the caucus system for that reason. I love that our delegates are engaged. They want to learn. But it would be nice to be able to stand up in front of 500 delegates at one time in Utah County or Salt Lake County and share who I am and why I'm running. I think that's just one more effect of COVID and how that's kind of changed the way that we run our elections processes.
Yeah, it's I think all of us can say it's a concerning aspect of COVID, and maybe at a varying degrees of necessity. We've been segmented away and off. I, for one, am a big believer in the importance of connection and that importance of being with people and getting to know people. And so hopefully you've been able to connect with people via the phone as best as possible, and certainly looking forward to an in-person convention next week, partly for this very reason. There's a power that comes when you see somebody face to face and can have a conversation, and certainly Zoom is a benefit that is ideal in many circumstances, but it still doesn't replace getting to know somebody, shaking their hand, saying hello, and getting to know them a little bit better.
Right.
Well, you've talked about maybe that challenge that's facing you as a candidate for vice chair. what do you see as you look to join the Republican Party leadership team here in our state? What do you see some of the biggest challenges that our state GOP is facing, and maybe even some challenges that the national GOP is facing?
Yeah, I think it's reaching out to different voters, bringing them into the party, helping them see that conservative principles are good for our state, good for our country, especially with this next generation that's rising. You know, they're getting a lot of their information on college campuses where there are issues with free speech, there are issues with like biased education. They're being taught, you know, almost like we're erasing history in a way. Um, I it's sad to see our founding fathers being vilified at times. Um, so we need to cut through that. We need to reach the next generation, help them see that our party is the party of opportunity, the party of upward mobility, the party of inclusivity. Um, we're the party that believes in free thought and free thinking, classical liberalism, you know, and that's what the liberals used to pride themselves on, is tolerance and acceptance, and we don't care what you believe, you're welcome. We don't really see that on their side anymore. We need to be the party of free thought and free thinking, that you can be a Republican and share different views, but the one thing that can unite us is our platform and those core principles that we believe in.
Yeah, here. I could not agree more. Obviously, the folks that are likely going to be watching these videos are those among the thousands of delegates, state delegates that we have from across the state. So all of you as delegates, if we had all of us that are serving in that capacity, and even those that serve on the county level, and you laid us all out on a spectrum, I'm sure that there's varying degrees of conservatism, quote unquote, that we would find our place in. And there's maybe a small pocket here that we're right in line. But I agree that that's one of the benefits of this party. And one of the reasons, many reasons why I affiliate with this party, is this belief that there are unifying principles and core principles that allow us to still have this individual respect and this individual opportunity to engage and have a diversity of thought. It's an important thing that sadly we're not seeing enough of, as the cultural, the pop culture and the celebrities of the day are trying to tell us all how to think and what to think. The most important thing is, supporting all of us to have the ability to think. And if we support one another in that process of thinking and then teach correct principles, it's amazing what people are able to do. And I think we've done it fairly well here in Utah. But if we go back to that earlier conversation point with seeing these traditionally red states, starting with New Mexico years ago, and then Colorado, Nevada, and Arizona, we can't assume that what we've done well in the past will continue unless we stand up collectively as delegates, as Republicans, in our own families, in our communities, to articulate a respect for, diversity of thought, but also these beliefs that we care about. So couldn't agree with you more on that, Jordan. Tell me, beyond these problems that you've articulated, are there any other problems that you see that are maybe unique to our current situation here in Utah that you would try to address?
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, we have one of the battleground districts in the entire country. The fourth district has been decided by a percentage point or less for the past couple of cycles. And so we need to hang on to the fourth district. We need to strengthen our Republican voters and our turnout and our fundraising, specifically in the fourth district, so that we can reelect Representative Owens. I think that's a big one. And then increasing, we've lost some seats in the legislature as well. And we've got to make sure that we maintain and expand our strength in the legislature. And we can do that if we unify as a party, if we're focused on electing Republicans and communicating effectively to voters why our vision is better than the left. And so, yeah, hanging on to the fourth district and then maintaining and expanding our Republican majorities in the legislature.
So if you are elected as the next vice chair, how will you work with whoever's elected to be our chair?
Oh, I have good relationships with all of the candidates running for chair. And that's the fun thing about me, is I am a friend to everybody. I don't know if you've seen my list of people who are endorsing me and throwing their support behind me. But as you said, it's a broad range of Republicans. I'm a friendly person. I'm optimistic. I think I'm easy to work with. So I will work with whoever is elected. Any of the candidates running for chair, it would be a pleasure to work with them. I will work to support them and their vision. I will help, enact the things they want to do to execute on their ideas. I'll be an ally from start to finish as long as I'm in office. And I also want to work well with our county parties. I actually spoke with a delegate just last night from San Juan County, and he was so scared that they are at that point where that county could flip blue. They see that at their county commission level, they see that in their city councils, and he's scared. And he said, "What can we do? How I'm going to support you, but I need to know what are you going to do to help our counties?" And so that's, I think, a benefit of having a vice chair from Southern Utah. I live in Washington County. To have that representation from deep South Utah, Kane County, Wayne County, Garfield County, San Juan County, Washington, Iron County. I would love to be like the face and the liaison for the party here in Southern Utah to make sure that Republicans are strengthened and heard and listened to this far south as well.
What do you see your role and the role of the entire Republican Party leadership team, however it comes out after next week's election? What do you view the role of the party here in the state during a nominating year?
One, to be fair and neutral to our candidates who are running through the primary process. Every Republican deserves a fair chance at being nominated to be our candidate in a general election. But once we decide on those candidates and who they are, it is working our tail off to get them elected, to support them in any way we can, monetarily, out knocking doors, making phone calls, communicating to voters, making sure that we are 100% behind our candidates, whoever those candidates might be, to get Republicans elected in a general election.
Yeah, it is a start to finish effort, and I've talked about this on some of these videos that we've been engaging with candidates, and I commend all of the delegates. It's really on the backs of countless hours of door knocking and phone calling and emailing to their friends or having a conversation at the grocery store or making a political contribution. It really is what we all do as Republicans that is of so much value to the outcome of winning elections and supporting candidates. So anything you want to add to that?
Well, yeah, I just say in a nominating year, 2022 is going to be a big year. We've got to hang on to the 4th district so that we can help end Nancy Pelosi's reign in Congress. And if the Democrats are able to flip that seat back, that's just, one more seat that she has in her hands, and we cannot let that happen. And another thing I would add is we've got to have great high turnout for our caucus nights in next year. We had amazing turnout in 2016, off the charts turnout. We need to replicate that. And I know 2018 was a challenge because of COVID, and we had to just maintain the same delegates that we had elected. 2020 were the 2018 delegates. We've got to have a great turnout in our caucus meeting next year, and I will work in party leadership to make sure that we do that.
Perfect. What do you see as the number one priority that the Utah Republican Party needs to focus on, according to kind of what you're seeing as you talk with delegates or think about the state of the party in the state?
We are rapidly changing our demographics. I'm in St. George, Washington County. I'm seeing a whole lot of California license plates in town. And I think we're noticing that across the state. It's not just here, it's Wasatch Front as well. Silicon Slopes they're attracting a lot of talent from out of state. We need to help these people understand that Utah is a great place because of what we believe, the balanced budget that we produce every year in the legislature, the policies that free up individuals to make their own decisions, to educate their children, to open and run a small business. We need to make sure that we're educating these out-of-state voters who are coming into Utah to help them see we're a conservative state for a reason. We have the quality of life that we have for a reason. So I think that that's number one priority, is keeping Utah red, making sure that we continue to elect Republicans and to convert those out-of-state voters that are moving here.
What is the thing that you're most looking forward to if you are lucky enough to be selected by the delegates next week? What do you look forward to accomplishing as vice chair of the state party?
You know, I look forward to some of my favorite things. I've been involved for over a decade now. I helped Mia Love get elected. I ran her volunteer operation in her very first run in 2012. I've helped, Mike Lee. I was his campaign manager in 2016. I've helped John Curtis, Congressman Curtis, get elected, and then a handful of legislators, Candace Perucci, Kara Berkland, John Johnson. These are all people that I've actively helped to get elected. I want to continue that. And I love that I now live in southern Utah. I love getting out into the smaller counties, the rural counties. They need to feel like they are paid attention to, that they have a voice, that we're there to support them. The party wants to support Republicans no matter where they live in this state. So I love just getting out on the road, meeting our voters, meeting our party members, working with our elected officials. I just want to run around and be a strength to the party wherever I can be.
Very nice. As we wrap up this conversation, give delegates and folks that are watching the video your 30-second campaign speech as to why they should support your candidacy for vice chair.
I'm consistently conservative, and I think that's important to know. I've never wavered. I've never let personal friendships get in the way of supporting my own party that I love and that I belong to. I've never campaigned on a tax increase. I believe in our strong Republican conservative principles, and I've got not only campaign experience but policy experience, and I've proven. I've been proven in the people I've helped elect in this state, and that is my number one priority, is to continue to elect Republicans and Republicans only, because we're the party of all the right ideas. We're the party of opportunity. We're the party of freedom, and we've got to maintain that.
Well, Jordan, thank you very much, not only for this conversation, but thank you for being willing to put your name out there and run for office in the republic we live in, whether it's an official government elected office or within the party. It requires people who are willing to put their name out there, and it takes a lot of courage. So thank you for your effort, and I wish you all the best as you continue to campaign in these next couple of days. Reminder to all of you delegates that are watching these videos, and you've heard me say it before, there's a lot that we all can do and must do individually. I challenge all of you to take a minute and think of what you've done to support the Republican Party in the past. And whatever answer you come to, however many doors you've knocked or phone calls you've had or conversations or dollars you've donated, whatever your answer is, big or small, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's honestly on the back of that we accomplish what we've accomplished as a state party leadership team these last couple of years. And more importantly, it will be through all of us continuing to do what we can, when we can, that Utah stays red, and we'll bleed out a little bit to the left and to the right and even down south, and we'll help these other neighboring states turn back red from the blue they've become. I firmly believe that if we stay committed as Republicans. And to that end, to all of you delegates, thank you for vetting these candidates. Watch these videos. If you've stumbled on one, I'd encourage you to go and take the time to look at the other videos that we've done. See these candidates, get to know them, and then we'll see you next week on May 1st as we engage in the in-person convention at the Maverick Center. Looking forward to chatting with you then, and hopefully we can connect. All the best. Bye-bye.